Hey everybody, it's Coach Wharton here with OnlineBikeCoach.com, and in today's Daily Ditty, we're going to continue the trend talking about sleep and sleep quality and sleep quantity, but I'm also going to show you some interesting results via the Runalyze software app. Let's start with the Garmin Connect information for last night. Today is October the 20th, and the fact of the matter is I did not achieve any of my goals last night. But I do still notice the trend, and I am still interested in what it's going to reveal. First of all, we've got my first unmeasurable couple of minutes. Honestly, I think it was probably a period where my watch was separated from my wrist, and I wasn't able to get the NIRS data that we needed. So I'm just going to add that in as deep, which is, let's see, 11:48 through 12 through 11:56, so 8 minutes. So let's just call it 50 minutes, give or take, of deep sleep. Still less than optimal. REM was not adequate, and of course, once again, I woke up around 1:30 and stayed awake for about an hour. Can't quite figure that one out. I do not remember this awakening here. Anyway, one of the things I want to highlight once again is look once again that this is where I'm heavier in my deep sleep, and after I wake up and then fall back to sleep again, this is where I'm heavier in my REM sleep. And that's a trend that I've continued to notice. Now, the one thing that I do remember about this when I woke up at 1:30 is my back was really hot, and I don't know if that was from just staying in the same sleep position. I usually am a side sleeper, and it was just really hot. I don't know if that was a heating pad on my wife's side of the bed or what, but I think it was hot enough to wake me up, and it's just another thing I'm going to put into my notes for when I figure out what I'm going to do to try and optimize my sleeping conditions. Anyway, let's talk about some cool stuff going on here with Runalyze. One of the things I use Runalyze for is not just for myself, but also for my clients. Now, I'm not going to give away any information on my client names or their performance numbers or anything like that, but I am going to be using the aerobic threshold estimation to give you all an idea of what good and bad DFAA1 base rides look like. This is actually my information right here. On Monday, I went out a little bit too hot, a little bit too early, and you can see that I pinballed above and below, above and below, above and below the 0.75 DFA Alpha 1 baseline. If we look at the 45-minute ride I did later, and we go to aerobic threshold estimation, once again you'll see I barely dipped below and stayed above it for the majority of it, but I also had to call the ride after a period of time, and my power went down and my DFA Alpha 1 went up. Now let's take a look at some clients. If we look at this aerobic estimation for client number 1, you can see this is great. The client came down when I gave them a 25-minute SMO2 vasodilation exercise, but it also went back up again. Came down, went back up again. I wanted that seesaw because I wanted to see what it would do. And once we got set, the individual made appropriate changes to their intensity in order to try and stay above 0.75 as much as feasible. And so they did dip below, but again, they're learning. Okay. Then we've got another good ride right here. Let it load. This is one of my clients' first efforts on trying to get DFA Alpha 1 to work, and this is my protocol for warm-up, but they went way too deep, way too early, And as a result, they stayed below 0.75 for the remainder of the efforts. So I'm going to work with this individual and I'm going to coach them through this so that the vasodilation effect occurs, but they don't stay below 0.75. They instead stay above 0.75. This is my ride, once again, from yesterday evening. I wrote a blog post about this. I'm actually kind of excited about it. What I did with this ride is I started off with a low intensity of power and I gently raised that intensity over 60 minutes. And by doing it that way, you'll see I stayed above 1.0 for a very long period of time. I stayed above 1.0 for, let's see, it's minute 40, that's in the 39-minute range. And it was very, very beneficial. This is something I'm actually going to advocate for my clients, and I may actually build this into some Perf Pro studio ramp protocols. I did dip below 0.75 just barely when I was cracking 190 watts, but the average power was almost 170 watts. And once again, the average heart rate was, let's see here, looking at that. DFAA1 was there, 99% was there. And I don't think that's, again, it's hard to tell you where the average heart rate was, but this was a good ride. This was really a good ride. Now, this was an outside ride by a client at around 5 a.m. In his time zone. And this is exciting because this is real world, and real world has headwinds, tailwinds, climbs, and descents. And what you see is, yes, you're going to dip below 0.75 at times, but more importantly, you're going to be focused on higher averages. Okay, so this individual hit an average of 1.27, and they spent 99% of the time above 0.75. Ignore the valve and ignore the artifacts. That's not the point of actually. We're using this chart in a different and more unique way. And if you look at the heart rate chart, that's also kind of fun because you can see they spent a lot of time in the high power, but they kept everything below 133 beats. So that's kind of exciting. Anyway, I know I'm taking up a lot of your time. I'm actually going to get back on the bike here in just a few minutes and do some more exercise just while I've got good energy and my blood sugar concentration is up from breakfast. But that just shows you that, by the way, all of these people are losing weight. They're all losing weight. I'm losing weight. They're losing weight. In fact, here, I'll show you the Garmin Connect on my health stats for weight. And this is the last 4 weeks. And you can see I'm down to 71 kilos. Now, the black line is my goal of 67. I do not expect to get there until May. But you can see that, what set me into a panic was cracking 73 kilos on October the 8th. And here I am, once I started to pay attention and get another, 60 minutes at a time in using the Fat Maxer and Runalyzer and HRV Logger apps, whatever medium we're using, we were able to get the weight started to come right off. Anyway, that's about it. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for reading. And enjoy the ride.